quarter of Google is AI.
Intel couldn't even get a quarter of one sale.
And AMD, under-quartered on their quarter for gaming. It's bad. Let's get into the hot Cheetos, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Thursday, October 31st. Halloween. We had some leftover costumes from the charity stream, so what are you?
Helmo.
Helmo?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Frick 'em.
Oh, you're from Sesame Street. What the heck, man? Oh boy. Well, I don't know if Google means this in the way that everybody is interpreting it, but the CEO came out and said that AI was used in a quarter of the company's code that's been generated recently. That's a lot.
That is a shocking number, actually.
So it was said with the idea that it's boosting productivity and efficiency and allows the engineers to do more and move faster, but not necessarily to do layoffs, even though they've definitely done those.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what percentage of your workflow is AI these days? What have you offloaded to ChatGPT to help you out with? What have your bosses replaced you with? I want to hear from you down below. What percentage of your work is AI these days? And if you're looking to do more AI work on the road, you should check out today's video sponsor. Keeping productive while you travel is always a struggle. As a tech channel, we travel a few times a year to attend events like CES and Computex, and it's always tough to get set up in a good spot to work. That's where today's sponsor, ProtoArc, comes in with their XKM01 case up. This sleek little case holds an entire mobile workstation, complete with a folding Bluetooth keyboard, a slim Bluetooth mouse, and a lightweight folding monitor stand. For holding everything this case does, it stays nice and light and small enough to barely take up any backpack space. The case itself has extra room for charging cables or USB hubs for connecting all your other wired devices. The portable monitor stand sets up super fast, so getting ready to work is as simple as unfolding the keyboard and opening your laptop. We set a timer and we were able to get everything set up and working in just 56 seconds. ProtoArc is all about melding ergonomics with productivity, and using the XKM01 case-up's monitor stand really does make a difference in your workflow. Keeping your laptop higher up at eye level is great at reducing neck and back fatigue while working on the go, allowing you to feel better and stay focused longer. You can upgrade your mobile work setup today by picking up an XKM01 case-up from ProtoArc via the link in the description below. Huge thanks to ProtoArc for sponsoring today's video. Well, Reece, I'm definitely going to need that ProtoArc combo for the purchases I made yesterday, because as expected, we finally got the last announcement of the Apple lineup. This is actually, I figured out what their strategy was as I was getting ready for hot news today.
Yeah.
The first day was the unveiling of the M4 with the iMac. The second day was the unveiling of the M4 Pro. And then the third day's M4 Max. That's why they staggered it 3 days. Allegedly, they also did this because their Scary Fast event last year didn't get them as much press as they wanted.
Oh.
And so they staggered it out so that they dominated the headlines for 3 days. People kept talking about them.
I get it.
It wasn't everything at once. So we did get a new MacBook Pro lineup with several different changes, including new chips, as well as a new display with nano texture finish to make
nice
it
display.
less reflection. But also one of the impressive things is that it's still HDR 1600 nits, but it's SDR 1000 nits.
Which is so nice.
Which is so wild.
So nice.
Especially when you consider that the M4 version, don't go Pro, don't go Max, is $1699.
Yeah.
We've reviewed the ZenBook S16 and the ZenBook S14 from Intel and AMD recently. Their screens aren't that nice. They're OLED, but the screen on the MacBook Pros are still very good.
Yeah, no, it's exciting all around, I think.
They increased the webcam. It's now 12 megapixels. And
Hooray.
It's got all three of the new chips, the 4, the 4 Pro, and the 4 Max. We'll talk about the 4 Max in a little bit, but also connectivity on the new M4 Pro and above. You get Thunderbolt 5 ports, 3 of them for 120 gigabit connectivity. You still get the SD card, still get the MagSafe connection there. You get HDMI. Headphone jack still exists, and then you've got Wi-Fi 6E, not 7, but honestly it's good for a lot of people, but it's not perfect. Additionally, they're saying the battery life is the best ever on a MacBook. You can get up to 22 hours in certain versions of the 14 and up to 24 hours on certain versions of the 16.
Yeah.
So it's going to be available November 8th, just like everything else. 16 gigabytes of RAM is the base amount for everybody,
Which I'm glad they bumped that up.
definitely. The M4 Max has 16 cores, 40-core GPU, 35% increase in memory bandwidth, going up to a total of 546 gigabytes per second. That's nearing the PS5 level of memory bandwidth, which is wild. It's increased from the M3 Max by 2 cores on the CPU, and then again, that increase on the memory bandwidth, which Apple is saying can account for 20% overall performance jump. We'll see. I mean, I could believe that their unified architecture is memory bandwidth limited, and this could allow to feed the GPU a little bit better, feed the CPU a little bit better, some IPC increases in there. I wouldn't say 20% in everything, but definitely an improvement.
Like, I have to say, my M1 Mac Mini is still chugging along so nicely for everyday tasks. These are just got to be killing it.
It's going to be crushing it. Fast speed, same performance on battery and off. And they're announcing new games coming to Mac OS next year.
Yep.
Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition is going to be coming out.
That was the surprise for me.
Yeah, if you have it, it carries over. You don't have to buy it again. Yeah, it's just that it has Mac OS support now.
Oh, hell
It's the same game on Steam. That's it. It's great. So Phantom Liberty, you can play it on your Mac now. That's all happening. They're getting better for gaming, and it'll take full advantage of Apple Silicon and the advanced technologies of Metal. But the last surprise announcement that they kind of slipped in at the end was that the MacBook Air is getting 16 gigs of RAM at no extra cost. So they're increasing the RAM, not increasing the price, and going back on that fight that they had at the beginning of the year where they're like, our 8 gigabytes is like everybody else's 16. And when it's not true, and it was wrong the entire time, now they're caving and doing it.
No, this is a win for anyone grabbing one now.
Don't clap for Apple. They don't deserve it. People are going to get mad that we did that. Sesame Street, brother.
Yeah.
So there's some big improvements. I got an M4 Max. Being on an M2 Pro for the last year, because I bought it like a couple months before the M3 Pro came out, working on a MacBook on the go, taking it to CES, taking it to Computex, it is the best option no matter what. I can edit videos in a coffee shop and not bring my charger, and I cannot do that on a Windows laptop.
I was about to say, the second you're off power on a laptop, I've experienced this now again in the office. It hurts me every single time.
Yep.
I immediately plug it back in.
Yep. But on a MacBook, I haven't experienced that problem. Also, we're getting in. I've made other. I'm an Apple shill. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I like Apple products for the workflow that I have, and so I'm gonna be using them for the workflow that I have. Whether or not that works for you, probably not. But Reece, before they get rabid in the comments, give them some PC deals, please.
I got you guys.
All right, Reece said he doesn't have PC deals, so I'll let you know that a lot of the new Apple stuff is cheaper on Best Buy, $50 to $150 off, depending on what you want to get. So there's a deal.
There is a deal.
I brought the deals on the Mac.
And hey, we've got some other deals for you here. Well, first up, we have this EPO maker and all a collaboration with the F65 65% hard swappable gasket mount wireless mechanical keyboard, going for only $47.99, making it $12 off with the coupon applied. But then next up, we have this Be Quiet Pure Loop 2 240mm AIO CPU liquid cooler, going for only $82.54, making it $32.36 off. And then lastly, we have this InnoCN 27-inch 4K 60Hz mini LED HDR 1000 monitor, going for only $199.99 with the coupon applied, making it $100 off.
That is a very weirdly spec'd monitor. 4K, 60 hertz, but 27 inch. That's very compact for 4K. But then HDR 1000, I might pick that up from my Mac.
I know.
That seems actually quite good for productivity.
I was about to say, productivity-wise, this thing has full DCI-P3 color coverage.
Ooh,
it's
baby!
Nuts.
HDR 1000 is nothing to sniff at $200.
That's why it's on here. And hey, with that, the deals are done. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. Until next time, I'm gonna hand you off back to the hot Cheeto for the rest of your hot news. Cheers. Boom.
Ow!
Oh, sorry.
Owie! Just need a moment to recover from all that headbanging.
Yeah, I saw that going.
Well, Reece, it appears that Intel's going to need to give gamers a big deal if anybody's going to be buying them, at least over from Mind Factory in Germany. The sales numbers came out for the first week after the Core Ultra 200S came out, and not one Intel Core Ultra chip was sold over at Mind Factory. Now, here in the US, certain versions were sold out. However, I've seen that matched with reports that stock was incredibly limited. They, like, even though it launched, it feels, and you know, I'm just going to say this with a grain of salt. It might be a paper launch. It's very, very limited, but it appears that it's not really affecting too many people who wanted to pick that up, because the highest performing in terms of sales Intel CPU over from Mind Factory is the 13400, which is in 21st place behind a ton of Ryzen chips. So it seems like in the DIY sector, people who are building their own PCs, not really choosing Core Ultra. You'll find them in computers, especially with pre-builts and other things that are going on the market. But if you're building it yourself, it doesn't look like it's moving. But I want to move with this new handheld. Onexfly F1 Pro announces their first HX370 powered gaming handheld, which I'm excited for because the HX370 chip, very good in terms of gaming performance. And it's got all of the features that you want, the 890M. They haven't confirmed RAM or storage yet, but they did say it's a 7-inch OLED 144 hertz screen.
OLED.
It's just going to be very nice. And then if we could get something like SteamOS on it, or Bazite, which is the new operating system that I'm seeing a lot of people put on their handhelds, this could be fantastic all around. No release date and no pricing. So
it's out there in the open, but it's kind of not so much detail.
yeah, it's not the first HX370 gaming handheld announced. I just keep getting excited because the 890M is quite good compared to what we had last generation. But that's not what's happening with AMD. We got their earnings report. And AMD's great. They're doing fine financially. 18% up year over year. Numbers going to the moon. Too bad that's not from you buying their stuff. It's from the data centers buying their stuff. All of the numbers came in, and the gaming sector crashed. Let me read the specs off to you brother.
Please do.
So its revenue is up 18% year over year. Its net income is up 158% year over year.
Hello.
They're doing great. Gross margin rose to 50%, which is an increase, but let's go ahead and take a look at the segment. All right, data center up 122% year over year revenue, 240 on operating income. Client, 29% net revenue, 97% operating income. Let's just skip gaming for a second. Embedded, down 25%, down 39%.
Wow.
Gaming, in net revenue, down a not nice 69%.
That is nuts.
That is brutal. Year on year for the operating income, 94%. So while NVIDIA has been experiencing this great AI boom with all of their data center stuff selling really well, that's kind of gone hand in hand with their gaming stuff either being stagnant or increasing quite a bit. Like they've dipped a little bit quarter to quarter in certain segments, but for the most part, it's been either flat or up. AMD lost it.
This is tanking.
So I will remind you that a lot of AMD's gaming income basically comes from consoles. And there has been nothing new or exciting for people to pick up. Basically, anybody who's wanted an Xbox or a PS5 has been able to pick them up reliably for roughly 2 years now. And the PS5 Pro, which is not coming out until next week, people don't have their hands on, isn't reported in this. Potentially, that could bring the numbers up. Additionally, if people want an RX 7000, they probably already bought it by now. It's just, we're going to have to wait and see if Q4 can bring it, or Q1, because Lisa Su did talk about RDNA 4, RX 8000, saying that there's improvements. It's going to be faster. What do you know? It's going to have ray tracing improvements. It's going to have a strong increase in gaming performance and add new AI capabilities.
AI!
So first, RDNA 4 GPUs in early 2025. Strong increase in gaming performance. Who knows what that means? We've obviously heard the rumors that they're not going to have a high end.
Yeah.
So maybe it's something like the 8700 XT goes toe to toe with the 7900 XTX and comes in at $499. That's a strong improvement, even if anybody on a 7900 XTX has no reason to upgrade.
Yeah.
Still a strong improvement. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how this plays out. But their gaming market, like we talk about NVIDIA doesn't have a reason to pay attention to gamers. They're still making billions of dollars off of gamers. And AMD is making next to nothing. It's rough out there.
Those numbers were shocking.
So if you want to keep them in the game, buy Mac. I'm an Apple shill. That's how this works. I'm gonna keep doing that. Let's see what you guys keep doing in the comments. Over on Floatplane, we got Little Nicky Scarfo saying, with all these M series chips coming out from generation to generation, which is better? Which one would you feel confident buying and it lasting for years? So basically, as you go up the numbers, they are better. The only exception is the M3 Pro. Yeah. From the M2 Pro, it's basically like the exact same chip.
It's almost like a cross grade.
Yeah, there's nothing going on there. So the best ones are the M4s. Obviously, we don't have third-party benchmarks, but essentially everything we've seen from the M4 iPad, if we can just assume better cooling, more power, it's going to be fantastic. Really, the people who did get the best value, though, were the people who bought M1 Pros and M1 Maxes, because those are still what Apple's comparing themselves to, and they're still very, very good.
Yeah, still holding up quite well.
Yeah, so if you can find yourself a decently priced, well-loved, used M1 Pro MacBook,
Yeah.
that's going to
I think you would be quite happy with that.
Yeah, it's got a lot of performance for the dollar. And over on YouTube, Quantum Physics and Chem saying, nobody likes their chem teacher saying 1 times 10 to the third power for 1,000, but at some point, scientific notation makes sense. I think this is in reference to the Google thing. I don't care that scientific notation would have made more sense in that. It's funnier to say that they owe $1 decillion. It's just funnier, all right? I like saying
Pay up, Google.
octillion, nonillion. I like saying the weird words. It's funnier. And then Jesus saying, man, imagine Valve being purchased by GOG. You mean CD Projekt Red. Actually, that wouldn't be it wouldn't be, They've made bad decisions.
They have.
But so has Valve. In fairness, Valve's made some hiccups that they've had to walk back from. So that could be a great call. Who knows? We'll see.
Look, I don't want Valve to be split up between a whole bunch of shareholders and
Gaben's 4 commanders.
have their little meetings.
Fernando saying, the 3D V-cache is under the CCD because gravity makes it faster.
Didn't think about
That
that.
makes so much sense. Thank you. And then Aesir saying, don't ask questions. Consume product. Get excited for new product.
Yeah.
I did that with the Mac stuff.
I'm glad you're catching on.
You understand how capitalism works. And then Katie saying, great, and still no full USB. This is in reference
this.
to the Mac Mini. And I had to respond to this because what the heck is Thunderbolt 5 if not full USB? It's the fullest USB ever made. It's got 2 USB-C ports on the front and 3 on the back. Yes, it doesn't have USB-A, but also USB-C's been out for like a decade. It's okay to move on. Everybody was clamoring to have Apple switch over to USB-C for their phones, but now that they have it on their products everywhere, oh, that's a problem. No, I don't buy it. Additionally, I just want to point out Tad saying the real question is how many dongles should purchase for my dongles? I'm kind of a dongles guy at heart, so the more dongles, the merrier. The truth is, you just get one Thunderbolt dock because you have 120 gigabits of connectivity going through a singular cable onto the dock. So you get the dock to plug into everything that you want, and it's one dongle. It's one dongle, all right?
I'm going to plug my wireless mouse into one of the Thunderbolt ports just to take up all that bandwidth.
Do it. It's got enough speed.
Yeah.
Just make it happen. What do you mean it doesn't have full USB? This is the problem with USB-C, is that it could mean it runs at 5 gigabits per second and doesn't provide power, or it can mean it provides 240 watts of power and goes 120 gigabits per second. The only way you know is if the company properly discloses things.
Plug it in and see.
That's what I'm gonna do to you, Reece. Are you gonna be here tomorrow?
Maybe.
Uh-oh.
We'll see.